What's up everyone, welcome back to Informathletics. Today we're going to be discussing how Steph Curry self-proclaimed himself to be the point GOAT, that is, the greatest point guard of all time. And frankly, he has a pretty good argument. If you look at his career highs in every category, this is what Steph Curry has done in his career. 32 points per game, 6.1 total rebounds, 8.5 assists, 2.1 steals, 0.4 blocks, and only 2.5 turnovers. He is the greatest shooter of all time. He had a season where he averaged 64% from 2, making 4.2 per game and only taking 6.6. And he had an amazing season where he averaged over 45% from 3 on 11 attempts per game, making 5.1 of them. Not to mention his free throw shooting. In his best free throw shooting season, he averaged 5.5 makes per game on only 5.9 attempts per game, which is 92%. Additionally, he would grab about 1 offensive rebound as his career high and 5.4 defensive rebounds. And the crazy thing is he does all of this in less than 36 minutes per game. Throughout his career, he's hardly ever played over 36 minutes, and yet his numbers are unquestionably amazing. So if you just look at the stats alone, Steph Curry has a great case. But many people listen to Steph Curry saying he's the best point guard ever, and they immediately bring up Magic Johnson.
It's me and Magic? That's the conversation?
Yeah. And Magic Johnson was great and all. He averaged a lot of assists, but he definitely was not even close to being as good of a shooter as Steph Curry. In fact, that's one of the other objections that people bring up about Steph Curry, that he's not actually a point guard. No, he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. He plays like a shooting guard. Well, what does it mean to be a true point guard? How do we define what a point guard is? In the traditional sense, if you were to mold a point guard and create a template point guard, it probably looks something like John Stockton, or other players like perhaps a Steve Nash or a Chris Paul. And you're right, if this is your definition of point guard, then Steph Curry doesn't really fit into that. He's not much of a distributor. But if that's the definition of point guard, well, then I could argue that Magic Johnson doesn't really fit into that either. In fact, Magic Johnson himself was a shooting guard for the beginning of his career and only transitioned to point guard later on. But one of the biggest distinguishers about Magic Johnson is that he is 6'9". He didn't really play point guard in the traditional sense. He played a lot of post game, making a lot of over-the-head passes, not to mention the quick, fast play in transition that the LA Lakers would play with back in the 80s. But the point is he doesn't really fit that category either. And you would think that if you're a point guard, shooting the ball would be a necessity. And unfortunately, Magic Johnson just was not an outside shooter. He hardly shot any threes for good reason, because he wasn't good at them. So what does it mean to be a point guard? Well, you don't have to play a certain way to be a point guard. Rather, you just have to play that position. And Steph Curry has played that position his entire career. So yeah, he might not be getting a ton of assists, but he gets a decent amount, and what really matters is that he's playmaking. And for him, because he's such a good shooter, that means that the playmaking has to end up with him having the ball many times. So whoever you think the best point guard is in NBA history, you have to admit that Curry has a really good case here. Steph Curry is one of the most influential players in NBA history. He changed the league. Few players have done that. When I heard the news that Steph Curry said he was the best point guard of all time, I gotta be honest, my reaction was, well, he's probably not wrong.
6 of 16 from 3. Gets it back. Curry, three-pointer.